Hello and welcome. Today we learn about the humanistic theory of personality given by Abraham Maslow. We already know that humanistic approach has certain basic assumptions which differ from other approaches to personality. The basic assumptions which guide humanistic approach are: one, human beings are innately good. So the humanistic approach believes that human beings are innately good, positive individuals. Humanistic theory places a great emphasis on the inherent positivity of human beings. Unlike other approaches, for example, psychoanalysis, which lays emphasis on unconscious motives and instincts as the primary force of personality, humanistic psychology looks at human beings as primarily driven by positive and growth oriented nature. The second assumption is that human behavior is goal directed. So, humanistic psychologists look at human life as unfolding of the positivity inherent in human beings. When it comes to personality, humanistic approach looks at personality in terms of accomplishment of growth and accomplishment of the fullest potential inherent in a human being. We learned in the previous lecture about Carl Rogers' theory of personality, where we learned that Carl Rogers talks about a healthy individual, a healthy personality, as someone who has been able to achieve the state of fully functioning person. Similarly, Abraham Maslow looks at personality in terms of the need within individuals to grow and to actualize their potential, to be the best possible version of their self, which is what he calls as self actualization, the state of self actualization. So, as the third bullet point goes, human behavior is adaptive and self actualizing or seeking complete fulfillment of the growth potential within. So, humanistic psychologists, both Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow, look at human personality as an unfolding of and acquiring the fullest potential which is there within an individual. Carl Rogers calls it fully functioning person, and Maslow calls a healthy personality or a healthy person as a self actualized person. Let us look into the details of what Maslow has to say about personality. We all are familiar with the hierarchy of needs given by Abraham Maslow. We studied about this hierarchy of needs when we learned about motivation in class 11. So we know that Maslow has given a hierarchy of needs where the basic survival needs are at the base. These are called the physiological needs. So these are the needs of our body, which is the basic requirement of any body to be able to survive. Next comes the safety and security needs. Safety and survival needs include needs such as employment, owning a property, having a social stability, having a career, having a source of income. So, all this ensures that the individual is safe and secure. So, once the physiological needs are met, physiological needs of such as water, clothing, sleep, food, they are met, there comes the second level of needs, which are the safety and security needs. After this, there are needs of love and belonging, which pertain to a desire in the individual to form social relationships, to be engaged in loving relationships. As I told you in the previous lecture, also, there is a need in every individual to love others and to be loved by others. So, this is a basic human need which is given to us by Mother Nature. And once our physiological needs and the safety and security needs are met, the next comes the love and belongingness needs, where we seek out good, healthy, loving relationships. Next comes the need for self esteem. This need involves a desire in the individual to feel worthy of others' respect and regard. So, this need basically involves acknowledgement and recognition of oneself by others. So, once the love and belongingness needs are fulfilled, the person seeks self esteem, where the person needs to feel respected in the eyes of others. For example, a person working in an organization wants an upward mobility for himself, looks for an upward mobility, or looks for a promotion, for a post or for a designation which is higher than what he had previously. So, this is what is regarded as the need for self esteem or need to feel worthy of others' respect and recognition. Last of all is the need for self actualization, which involves growth on the part of the person. So, self actualization is primarily a growth need, and a person who's able to accomplish or fulfill this need of self actualization, according to Maslow, has been able to attain the status of a healthy individual or the experience of a healthy individual. So, for Maslow, a healthy personality is a personality which is able to fulfill all the needs of this hierarchy, and by virtue of fulfilling all the lower needs is able to reach at the top and accomplish a state of self actualization for oneself. So self actualization is the highest stage of personality, which involves fulfillment, sense of purpose, immense creativity, and highest order acceptance of oneself and others. Maslow gives multiple characteristics of people who are self actualized. We'll look into some of these characteristics. Maslow defines self actualization as a state of self fulfillment in which people realize their highest potential in their own unique way. So, self actualization is a mental state of an individual. It's a very healthy mental state of an individual who has been able to fulfill all the lower level needs, from physiological to safety and security needs to love and belongingness and self esteem needs. The person has been able to fulfill all these needs, and once these needs have been fulfilled, the person reaches a stage of the highest health according to Maslow. So self actualization is the state of a human being who is regarded as a healthy human being by Maslow. So for Maslow, a self actualized person is a healthy person. Maslow's notion of self actualized person is very close to Carl Rogers' notion of fully functioning person. So they have given different terms, but generally these two concepts are quite similar in nature. Let us now look at some of the characteristics of self actualized people and some of the examples given by Maslow of people he considered as self actualized. Some of the characteristics of self actualized people are: one, they have high level of self acceptance. So they accept their self with love and regard. Two, they have a realistic perspective to self, or they have a realistic view of their self. They are aware of their shortcomings as well as their strengths. So they are very realistic in their perspective and they accept themselves as who they are. 3. They are less conformist or inhibited than most others. So they are very spontaneous kind of individuals and they are very less inhibited than most of us, and they are less conformist. So they don't conform to social norms very much. They are not the ones who would behave in socially acceptable ways, or they do not have a need to behave in a socially acceptable manner. Not that they are against social acceptance or they are against people or society, but it is just that they do not want the desire to be socially accepted, the need to be socially accepted is not there in self actualized people, because they have already crossed that level in the hierarchy of needs where they have crossed the self esteem needs. So they no longer feel a need to be accepted by others or to behave in socially acceptable manner or to behave in a conformist manner. Someone who conforms to the norms of the society, norms and rules of the society. Number 4, self actualized people look at life as exciting adventure and not as a humdrum routine. So they view life as full of adventure and novelty, and they do not just live life in terms of a monotonous, boring routine. Number 5, self actualized people experience peak experiences or intense emotional experiences during which individuals feel at one with the universe. Now, peak experience is Maslow's concept, which is very beautiful in itself. Many of us have experienced these states called as peak experiences. Peak experiences involve intense emotional experiences. So, we have peak experiences when we are experiencing emotions in a very intense manner. And during such an experience, what happens is that the person feels so much aroused from within and so much positive that the person feels at one with the universe. We all have had such experiences when we feel at one with everything that is around us. We are so much energized with our emotional experience that we feel at one with the whole cosmos or the whole Brahmand. Probably this is the context in which Indian philosophy has talked about Aham Brahmasmi, where they talk about the self as the whole cosmos. There is this duality in the Western conceptualization of individual, that individual and the surroundings are different, are separate from each other. Whereas when we come to the Indian perspective or the Eastern perspectives, they look at human personality or human being as one with nature. They do not look at human beings as separate from nature. They have a view of human being as a part of nature. And I think it is in this context that Indian philosophy talks about Aham Brahmasmi, or I am the cosmos. Probably one can see a parallel between how Maslow describes peak experiences and identification with the whole cosmos, and the Indian philosophy where we talk about Aham Brahmasmi, or I am the cosmos. So, peak experiences are some of the intense emotional moments where the person feels highly energized and at one with everything around, especially the nature. According to Maslow, self actualized people have plenty of peak experiences in their life. So, these are some of the characteristics starting from 1 to 5 about people who, according to Maslow, are self actualized. These are the characteristics which define the experience of being at the stage called self actualization. Now, Maslow based his theory obviously on the study of people. So, he studied a few people around him, and from the study of those people, he could arrive at an understanding of this concept of self actualization. So, the concept of self actualization has evolved from Maslow's study of human beings, real life human beings. According to Maslow, some of the examples of self actualized people are Thomas Jefferson, Albert Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Albert Schweitzer. Now, this can be another task for us as students of psychology to look around us and to find people who, according to us, are self actualized. And let me tell you that Maslow has talked about well known personalities or celebrities as self actualized people, but I think that we can have a self actualized person even in a cobbler. So, even a cobbler or a laborer can be a self actualized person. You do not need to be a celebrity or a very well known personality to have the characteristics of a self actualized person. It all depends on your perspective of life, and it all depends on how much have you been able to successfully navigate through the various levels of motives as given by Maslow. So, we have come to the end of this lecture now. I think this is one of the most beautiful theories in psychology about human beings, though it is highly controversial and highly debated because the concepts and the theory which Maslow has come up with cannot be studied in a so called scientific manner. So we cannot have laboratory experiments on self actualization, we cannot have laboratory experiments on Maslow's need hierarchy. So that is the reason why most psychologists who are inclined towards making psychology a very scientific study, following a certain hypothetical deductive method or the experiments, Maslow's theory cannot be studied using that paradigm. You need to have a different view of life, and you need to have a different view of research when it comes to theories like Abraham Maslow's theory of self actualization. So, we have come to the end of personality theories. We have studied personality theories right from trait, type, psychodynamic, behavioral, social cognitive and social learning theory, and humanistic theories. We have studied personality from all these approaches, and all these approaches have added something or the other to our understanding of what a human being is like. That is all for today's lecture. Happy learning.